Hey there everybody, it's Dave Duford again with Final Expense Agent Mentor, and today we are going to talk about telemarketing leads, using the phone to get in front of prospects for final expense life insurance. So let's get right to it. Telemarketing leads, again, are another viable lead method to get in front of people that may want to buy burial insurance. So today's conversation is going to be about why would one want to use telemarketing leads, and what some of the cons are of using telemarketed leads. I like to tell it like it is and give you both sides of the story, let you make your mind up as to if it would work best for you. So, benefits of telemarketing leads. But let me start first by describing exactly what a telemarketing lead is. A telemarketing lead is when somebody, a foreigner, a local person, or somebody who's a American national, makes a telephone call to somebody that fits the profile of a final expense type of prospect and ask that prospect for permission to get a follow-up call from an agent like myself to talk about final expense life insurance. That at its root is the very basics of a final expense telemarketing lead. So there's a couple of different kinds of leads. We'll go talk about that at the end of the recording. But right now let's talk about why one would want to use a telemarketing lead. So first of all, telemarketing leads have the benefit of a quick turnaround. If you've listened to my direct mail video, you learned that direct mail has about a 4 to 5, even longer, turnaround time on getting your investment back in the form of leads you can work. With telemarketing, it's totally different. If you work with a quality vendor, you're going to get your leads back within 1 to 2 weeks. So what that means is, as far as a capital investment of what your investable reserves are, you turn around the leads a lot faster, so you're not money in a lot longer like you would be with direct mail. So the turnaround's fast, you can get out there and start working pretty quickly. The other aspect is telemarketing leads, generally speaking, are a lesser per average cost than direct mail. Where direct mail ranges $26 and above, telemarketing leads can be as cheap as $10 and as high as $20, generally speaking, on average. So, again, telemarketing makes most sense for somebody getting out of the gate that doesn't have all the money in the world to invest in direct mail, because the turnaround's faster and the price point is lower. So why doesn't everybody do telemarketing leads? If it's less expensive and it's a smaller turnaround, what's stopping everybody from just going to telemarketing? Well, there's some fundamental problems with telemarketing that make it, in some ways, less advantageous. The first reason is the do not call list. You probably know what the do not call list is. It's a listing nationally and statewide for each state out there that if somebody puts their name on that list, they cannot be solicited no matter what over the phone. If they do, the marketer is at risk of a fine for each call that he makes. So that leaves us with somewhere between 10 to 20% conservatively of all eligible people to call on that aren't on the do not call list. Plus you have the reality that most people don't have landlines, and each year that passes on, there's less and less landlines necessary. Everybody's moving to cellular phones, so there's no reason to have a landline much anymore. So what that leaves the final expense agent is less people to call on, which requires more geography to fulfill the leads that they want. Whereas a direct mail piece, you may be able to stay in one county and work that county, if it's a sizable city, on an ongoing continual basis. When it comes to telemarketing leads, you might need to have, a 3 to 4 times as large geographical area to fulfill orders, even to the same extent. So that adds to your cost, not necessarily your lead cost, but your travel expense, your gas, your wear and tear on your vehicle, which is a kind of phantom way to drive your cost off. So you got to be wary about that. Even though the price point's lower, you still have more cost and windshield time and less efficiency when you go work those kind of leads. The second thing is that the quality of telemarketing leads, in my opinion, are lower on average compared to direct mail. And here's what I mean. If you listen to the last video about direct mail, there's a lot of engagement involved in the direct mail solicitation process. When it comes to telemarketing, there's not. Telemarketing is the prime example of what I call interruptive marketing. Interruptive marketing is when one prospects when they don't expect it and are caught off guard. They don't expect a sales call, they don't expect anything, they're just kind of taken immediately and suddenly. It doesn't mean they're not good leads, it's just that when a telemarketer calls one of our possible prospects, they're usually, maybe on the toilet, cooking food, watching television. Their mind is not on final expense. So when we're talking to them, trying to solicit and generate the lead, their mind is somewhere else. And when you call back, a lot of times these people say, I'm not interested, I just wanted to get the person off the phone. So the result and the outcome for the agent is that you have less quality leads than you would with other vendors like direct mail. So that's, again, there's a, a relationship between price and a relationship between quality, a correlation between price and quality, for the most part, unless someone's really trying to rip you off. But generally speaking, the cheaper the lead, the cheaper the quality of the lead. So, and that's no different with telemarketing leads. So, you make up with it in volume. That's really the difference with telemarketing leads. So, why would one want to use telemarketing leads then? They make a great way to fulfill any gaps in your direct mail lead generation efforts. If you get 10, 20, 10, 15 direct mail pieces, you want to get 25, call up your telemarketing guy, get 10 or 15 extra a week. He'll be able to generate them pretty quickly. So it keeps you busy, it keeps the gaps filled, and that's overall a very useful thing. Lastly, just some suggestions and descriptions of different kinds of vendors in the final expense business. You've got three kinds. You've got local, traditional telemarketing efforts with a live person. You've got voicemail / press one leads. And then lastly, you've got what we call avatar leads. So a short description will follow each of these. So traditional telemarketing is when somebody, like myself, cold calls and generates a lead like that. Those are the highest priced ones. Quality varies just depending on who's doing the calling. And price point's about $15 to $25, again, depending on who you use as a telemarketing lead vendor. The second kind is voicemail press one leads. And what those are is a telemarketer asks the prospect to listen to a pre-recorded message on life insurance. They got to get their permission. Then they're transferred to a recorded line. They listen to it. The prospect makes the decision to press 1 to leave their information or press 2 to just be taken off the call list. You got to watch out for these leads because voicemail leads usually are what's called robocall leads. Robocall leads are highly illegal. There's no wiggle room with robocall leads. And you got to make sure you vet those leads. It would be a safe bet to stay away from anything like that because, first of all, they're most likely illegal. And second of all, agents have been sued. IMOs and big marketing organizations have been sued for using robocall leads. Because there are people actively out there waiting to be cold called using a robocall method so that they can take you to court. Lastly, the last kind of telemarketing lead is called avatar leads. Avatar leads are basically leads in which are generated using a Filipino that doesn't speak to the prospect but presses buttons on the computer to deliver pre-recorded responses, objection rebuttals, opening statements, closing statements. So it's all mechanized. It's kind of cool. It's like, I call them the Terminator leads. They feel no fear. They're never discouraged. They constantly keep going. They're always the same, whether it's the morning or it's at night. Nothing in their day affects them. They deliver the same exact message every single time, which is incredibly powerful. Avatar leads tend to be the lower price lower price point lead. And the quality can be pretty good. If an area is really worn out, the quality kind of comes down. But generally speaking, they're a quick way to get leads, and they're an effective way to deliver the message without human error involved and human emotion taken away from the prospecting process. So that's telemarketing leads in a nutshell. Great way to fill gaps in. That's how I use them. I prefer direct mail because it is the highest quality lead more often than not. And that's it for telemarketing leads. Try out or test, go to Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com for more information. I got a lot of other videos. Check them out on YouTube. And thanks for listening. Take care.